I was just as shocked as you when I saw the reveal for a Planet Zoo sequel, or Planet Zoo 2, whatever you want to call it. So, yesterday was the 6th anniversary of Planet Zoo. I had my own video that went out. I was not expecting to cover Planet Zoo again in any capacity, but here we are. It's officially here. Well, not officially here. It's officially revealed, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we can expect, a little bit about the reveal itself, and like the video. Very excited on that. Without further ado, welcome everyone. My name is Leaf, so let's jump into it. So that little kind of like 6-year anniversary video, let's talk about that. They reached out to me. They reached out to me a couple weeks ago, I would say, and I kind of put it off for recording that a little bit. I recorded that at like, I don't know, 6 a.m. It was very much at the buzzer beater. I'm very thankful they still allowed me to contribute to that. Very thankful for that. But yeah, I don't know. There was so much more I could have said, so much more I didn't really have time to think about because, again, I didn't really have coffee at that point in the morning. But really, I can't thank you all enough as a community, whether you downloaded any one of my mods or any one of anyone else's mods. Again, like, this is just such a beautiful, beautiful pillar of the community, the modding community. I really do owe it so much for my success in Planet Zoo, and also for my enjoyment of the game as well. Not only just the modding community, but especially the mod creators and tool developers. Without them, I wouldn't have the kind of like forte that I do in Planet Zoo at this point, so huge thank you to them. But yeah, it's just so crazy to think about. We've come all this way since 2020, that's a little scary right there, but 2026, and we end with that beautiful little 2 right over here. Oh my gosh, like that is just the icing on the cake right there. And again, we can come down here to the read more right over here for the news celebrating 6 years of Planet Zoo, and they're happy to say that they are delighted to reveal that they are hard at work on a sequel to Planet Zoo. They'll be revealing more on this next year. So what will they reveal? We are not entirely sure. Will we hear anything else this year? Probably not, but I'm very excited to talk about what I would like out of it. And what better place to start looking than Jurassic World Evolution 3, their latest game. I know Planet Zoo people are really afraid of Jurassic World Evolution, but trust me, this is for a good reason. Let's just breed any random dinosaur in here, a Troceraptor. Now there is so much that Jurassic World Evolution 3 does so right that I would love to see in Planet Zoo. Now first of all, I just want to say the terrain tools in JWE, they are not like the ones in the Planet series. I just want to say that off the bat. Instead of being able to make terrain wherever you want, make caves and stuff like that, JWE only has this one layer of terrain to work with. Because of that, you can't really have multi-platformed kind of builds. However, they do have the waterfall tool, and look at that. It is just gorgeous right there. That is beautiful. So yeah, obviously that is one feature I would love to see out of Planet Zoo 2. Like, I think the ability to make these beautiful, very organic looking waterfalls would be one of the best ones, but one I don't see a lot of people talking about if we release one of these dinos. Also going to turn the sound on so you guys can actually hear it. Yeah, hear the dinosaurs. But yeah, one of the features that I don't see enough people talking about is the territory system. Now, this would be incredible to see, especially for kinds of like our herbivores, even our carnivores in the game, where you might often see lions taking a certain part of their habitat. I would love to see something along that line where they kind of just start exploring and their habitat and their kind of range gets expanded to the point where they're like, okay, this is enough for me, and they just stop right there. I would love to see something like that. And it goes without saying, JWE has just a whole bunch of other awesome terrain tools. You can see the automatic rocks that get placed whenever you do put a brush on steep cliffs. You can see that these brushes are just incredible, but I actually don't think we're getting these brushes. However, while we're still in JWE, there's not much that I expect to get out of this game in a Planet Zoo 2. What I do expect to get is the Frontier Workshop. And yeah, I think the system in JWE works very well. I think it's very cool that, like, let's just say, for example, I do want to place a small drink amenity, and I can look for Brachioboba by Epic Dave Face or whatever. I just click that and it gives it to me. Like, that's so good. And yeah, this stuff automatically kind of like populates from the workshop. You can see community creations right down here. If I want this one by Rudy, our boy, it loads it right there and it places it down. Isn't that awesome? However, the Frontier Workshop I do have a few issues with that I hope they're able to expand upon. So if we click over here more on the workshop, you can see the workshop is pretty good. However, it's not really that easy to really look for stuff. I mean, let's just say, for example, I want to look for butterfly. There's nothing. You want to know why? Because butt is censored. Like, I really hope Frontier is able to fix all these issues that we're having with this workshop specifically before Planet Zoo comes out, because the workshop is so integral to not just this game, but Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo as well. Look at this, that's good. But I would absolutely love to see some expansions on the workshop system in this game. I mean, it's great and all, but these images, like, I wish we're able to upload our own custom images like the Steam Workshop. However, I still think the workshop overall, having this internal within Frontier, is very helpful. I just really hope they're able to expand upon it, because as much as I love seeing Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, I would also love to see an opportunity to really make my workshop items stand out. Like, I think about all of the modded zoos I've worked on where it's like I need to include all of like the information on what mods I use. Not only mods, but I'm thinking about like billboards as well, custom media, sounds, custom audio. I'm thinking about that. You can't put in stuff like that in here. You have to link to an external resource to link to more resources. Again, Frontier, if you guys are able to allow us to upload our own images to these, like even just take multiple in-game images, that would really fix up my main issue. However, we're pretty much expected to see this in Planet Zoo 2, and for all the slack that I kind of give this, I really do think it's a worthwhile system to have. I think it works fairly well when it does, but yeah, I would just like to see this expanded upon. Now moving on to Planet Coaster 2. Listen, for all the slack that we've given this game for the longest time, it's really good now, guys. For example, we're just gonna jump into one of the parks I've been working on recently, but Planet Coaster 2 does have a bunch of really good kinds of options for a Planet Zoo 2 that we could see being carried over. The first one of all being the path system. Now, I did see a couple kind of like complaints on the path system in terms of some comments I've seen over the course of like the week saying like, man, I really don't want Planet Coaster's path system. And I'm like, are you sure? So yes, the path system in Planet Coaster has been one of the best improvements because it is like you take all the reins off. It works so well. So, little crash course for everyone who might not be aware, you still get your basic paths in case if you do want the typical Frontier fashion of paths for like all the old games and stuff like that. It works the same. However, there's so many other awesome tools for us to use in here. You have square stamps, you have circle stamps so you can get your perfect little plazas. Like, that is so good. But beyond that, look at this. Multi-select, click X. And then boom, you can move your paths around. Yeah, I think that is going to be so good for Planet Zoo 2. I think that is going to just be the biggest feature that everyone has struggled with paths in that game. I mean, even if you are able to work with the system, you still hate the system that you're working with. Like, let's be completely honest. However, I think there is so much more that we can do with this system now. I mean, coming over here to the edit tool, this is super, super robust. So if we just move these kind of splines, Taji 3D, in case if you guys are unaware, has an incredible series where he just goes over a lot of these basics in Planet Coaster. But that's really going to carry so much weight over to Planet Zoo 2 when it does come out. And once we do have more information on that, looking forward to that. However, these scenery brushes, not from Jurassic World Evolution 3, but from Planet Coaster, are the ones that I think we will absolutely be seeing. You can see that we do have all these settings over here. You can increase your brush size to be tiny. You can also increase it to be just a bit bigger. You can increase your intensity so it's just a lot more in your face. Or you can come all the way down here and have it be every so often. Now, obviously, they have a bunch of like pre-made assets in these brushes. They are great. They're really good for filling out your areas, especially when you're working kind of further away. But you come up here to that little paint palette and you see custom. Up here is where you can get really creative. I have one that's supposed to be gravel, it's just a bunch of barnacles. I made that when the game first came out, trust me, I'm a lot better at this nowadays. But over here I have one specifically for flexicolor rocks, and yes, I do expect flexicolor rocks to be in the base game, please. Oh my god. I've been watching a lot of like video game content videos as of late, and I do agree with the sentiment that restrictions lead to more creativity, and I think that is so important and so true when it comes to the Planet series of games. The amount of things that we did to really make things work, we did some ungodly things. However, with everything that we have nowadays in Planet Coaster 2, I'm looking at editable text signs where it's quite literally just the text pieces, so we can say goodbye to like hiding those wooden beams behind items and stuff like that. So we could say subscribe, which you guys totally should do. Crazy. But no, I'm just kidding. Of course, do whatever you want. But it's like items like these that I am just looking forward to day one. Not only that, but the fonts. Remember that we got these in update 4 of Planet Zoo. And now look at these. These were all in the base game of Planet Coaster 2. And I could absolutely expect to see these make their appearance once again. There's no 2D fonts in here though, which is kind of puzzling. Frontier. If you want something for Planet Coaster 2, that's a very nice free update. But yeah, in terms of other stuff from Planet Coaster 2, I'm not gonna lie, I do think the water will look a lot better. I think the water will look just as good as this. It's just not gonna work the same as whatever we have in here. You can see it's very beautiful water. However, there's no function to water in Planet Coaster 2. It is simply just there for aesthetics. Like, yeah, you can't place paths underwater, that makes sense. However, it just looks very pretty, but all in all, it's kind of just like you plop it in and you plop it out. It's quite literally as simple as that. However, we're gonna pop back into Planet Zoo and kind of talk about the rest of the game in there and what I would like out of it. I'm making my way through all of these Frontier games. The only one I haven't gotten through yet. You think they'll port anything from F1 Manager? No, I think they're trying to forget about that game. All right, here we are in my little anniversary video, zoo, if you could call it that. Yeah, let's kind of pop in here in explore mode and kind of just have our little yap sesh. So first of all, the thing on everyone's mind, and I've seen this comment brought up, and we're even seeing this discussion being had in JWE3, where people are thinking they deserve the DLC that they bought in Planet Zoo 1 in the sequel. Now listen, I am one of the most like anti-capitalist people that you can meet. Not entirely, but you know, I am against like, you know, multi-millionaires kind of like having their private jets and stuff like that, like Mr. Frog over here. Hello. But like the way that I see it, I want Frontier's employees, I want Frontier's devs to be compensated properly for the amount of time that they put into the game. And that's why I'm not complaining about the price. And of course, I am in a completely different situation from a lot of other people where I am lucky enough to have a stable job. However, not everyone is as lucky as me. Not everyone is as in a situation as me. And I completely understand that. But at the end of the day, video games are like a luxury. They're not a necessity. No one can make an argument that a video game is a necessity. You aren't entitled to it. It's not like food or water, despite what the government of America might have you think. But I think it will be given its own purpose. I do think a lot of the DLC animals, specifically the earlier ones. Now, obviously, I have every remaster under the sun installed, but let's just say, for example, if we come over here to the taiga, tundra, I'm looking at animals, and I'm looking at, like, let's just say the polar bear. Obviously, this is the remaster. I expect a lot of improvements to be made over the animals, and that's why I'm not going to be completely upset about having to buy the same animals again. Obviously, like, I do receive the DLCs for free. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge my privilege. However, at the very least, for all of my DLCs that I do receive for free, I do end up doing a giveaway for all of them. I get that money out of my own pocket, and in a way, I guess technically I do pay for the game at that rate. So yeah, my money is like kind of still on the line. I still pay as much as you guys when all is said and done. It's just you guys get my free code, but only one of you. But I think that, I don't know, I'm happy to keep on doing that personally. But yeah, I think that is a huge kind of topic right now that's been circling the forums, that's been circling the servers, the Reddit, the comments, everything. And I think it's super important just to acknowledge that, like, Frontier, there's not really reports of crunch at Frontier. There's not really reports of employee mistreatment at Frontier. And if there ever was, I would obviously let you guys know, because I think the game is good. Like, the game is obviously good, but people's lives are kind of like more important. People's well-beings are more important. And this is just a stupid zoo game at the end of the day. Like, come on. All right. Modern Wetlands Aviary. I believe this is from Delady. Let's place that down. All right. So let's talk about the main points of contention for new features for Planet Zoo. Obviously, aquatics. These are a big one. Now, I would come to expect not necessarily full aquatics out of Planet Zoo 2. I think it would be great. I think it would be a fantastic addition. I am not going to expect fish. Maybe dolphins, maybe manatees, maybe sea turtles, but I think the bill will end there. At least that's what I'm expecting. Do I want to be surprised? Absolutely. But to be honest, if you look at a game like Megaquarium, and yes, I'm downloading it right now just for the video. Let's pop this baby open. Oh my god, I forgot. I have so many mods in here. That's great. Still though, let's pop back into one of my videos. I think I did this. I made up aquarium and Megaquarium with the tropical freeze pack and the deep sea pack or whatever. But we come up here to the fish. How do you buy fish? I would say for Planet Zoo 2, this would be the minimum. And you can see I'm still scrolling through here. That's because, like, fish and aquariums, you need so much to make that work. And I really don't see Frontier being able to model all of these fish, give each one their own Zoopedia, give each one their own requirements, their own needs. I think they're really going to need to step up their game in terms of how they're going to be able to approach all of this, because right now the current system in Planet Zoo, which I still have open, if I just say make an entire habitat, and keep in mind, aquariums are not that big, guys. So if I make an entire aquarium like this, and let's even make it a little bit taller, sure. All right, so here it is, scale of a person. This is about your average kind of like coral reef tank. This would be filled with your tropical fish, like Moorish idol, unicorn fish, etc., etc. And let's just say we do go through the whole rigmarole of placing them all in here one by one with the same system that we use for animal training or even exhibit trading. On average, aquariums in real life, they usually have over like 80 fish per tank. Like, that's my kind of quick estimate. And I think it's going to be a very different system to what we're looking at right now if they do decide to go that route. And like, listen, I just want to scare you guys out of your pants. This is just tropical salt water. If we open up the can of worms and go to cold water, there's even more fish. And if you open it up to fresh water, cold water, well, there's no fish. But if you open it up to tropical fresh water, there's still so much fish and green anaconda. But yeah, I think there might be possibilities for fish in Planet Zoo 2. I think it might work. I'm just curious to see if it actually would. All right, this game is great, but I can't stand the sound of like the filters running. Let's pop over here and talk about birds. Right, so obviously birds are going to be the feature of Planet Zoo 2. I think there is no way to hide that. I think the community has been very vocal about it, and we've had plenty of opportunities to get them in Planet Zoo 1. However, game development, it does take a while, and if you do look at kind of where Planet Zoo started to improve, let's just say that was around the time of, I want to say Twilight. I feel like Twilight was a breaking point. So in Twilight, we finally got this new exhibit type. It is called the walkthrough exhibit. And yes, I do think that this is going to be the way that our birds will work in Planet Zoo, specific flying ones. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. I don't know why I'm going to put centipedes in here. No, I want to put bats in here. I want to put bats in here. Yes, we're just going to drop a few of these bad boys in here. And this is going to be how I expect it to work, at least a little bit more modular. So yeah, obviously these animals do fly along kind of like a predetermined route. However, Jurassic World Evolution 3, I'm not booting that game up again, trust me. They do allow them to free fly in there, which is super cool. And I do think that will be a keystone feature for upcoming walkthrough exhibits in Planet Zoo 2. I think they're going to keep the system. I think they are going to rebrand them as some kind of aviary, something that falls along the lines of aviaries, but really isn't, just in case if they do want to implement the sloth again, unless if they want to make that a habitat animal. I think that would be great. But yes, I think this is going to be how it's going to work. I do think we will be able to customize this a little bit. I think we'll be able to expand these kind of like how you expand lagoons and aviaries in Jurassic World Evolution 3 by just placing them right next to each other, so we can still have big tropical houses where our birds can fly through. Yeah, I think they're going to be kind of the same as barriers. If I could put money on it, they're going to put a new kind of tab down here to allow us to place down these new kinds of exhibit types. I think that would be awesome. However, birds, they're more than likely to come. And of course, we can see Frontier has been really brushing up on their feather tech. I mean, just look at the American flamingo in here. They look so good. I've been working on Chilean flamingo though. Forgot about that. I should probably get this released soon. However, the American flamingo does look absolutely gorgeous. It is drop dead gorgeous, guys. So I do expect Frontier to at least put something out kind of like on this quality level. Like, they look so good. But yeah, aviaries I do see as a definite in Planet Zoo 2. I don't really see aquariums unless if they really fix up the exhibit box system. And on that note, I can absolutely see the same thing that we talked about for the walkthrough exhibits over there. I can see the same thing working for our typical exhibits in here. Now, I do have an issue with this, however, because exhibit animals, they're about the size of this. And you scroll away far enough and you can barely even see that guy right there. And again, you put a guest right next to it. They're very tiny. However, like, there are the iguanas. So yeah, maybe if you have two exhibits together, you can decorate them. I really hope we're able to decorate them or at least configure them in different arrangements or something. But I would like to see that at least for the iguanas, if anything. I think that'd be cool. I do think iguanas should be habitat animals regardless though, because I like seeing them walk around. But I do think improvements to the actual exhibit box system will be a thing. However, there's something that I think we all want. If, for example, I come in here, I type in flamingo, I have their enrichment, I have their forage pool. Let's just say that, for example. And I come down here to my explore mode and click myself down. I think all of us, at least some of the more senior members of the community, might remember a game where you can come right up here, click space, and it fills it for you. So yeah, an actual Zookeeper mode would be incredible. Now, I've talked about this ad nauseum. I've talked about it to the point where people start to disagree with me for some reason. Now, of course, I'm sure there's something to be said where you have to have your, let's just say, keeper hut. So yeah, you have your keeper hut right there. You can see that the function in-game, the process in-game for these animals, you have to call your keeper to the habitat. There's no keeper. Sorry. So you have to call your keeper to the habitat. They're urgently requested on placement. But yeah, they come in and let's just follow him. You do your little iPad games. It's playing Candy Crush or something. You play Candy Crush in here for 2 seconds. You come out here. You follow your keepers right into here. You can see they're the ones preparing the food, right? They are preparing the food. They're putting the pellets in there. They get it all organized into a little bucket. Can we talk about that little attention to detail? I feel like I've never noticed that before. However, they walk in here. There's an owl, by the way. They come right over here, to wherever the hell they're walking. In the corner. Great. Okay, so hopefully they actually go to the center of the habitat. I don't think they are. Nope, they're just gonna place the food down right there. Well, that's kind of what I mean. Zookeeper mode would allow us to do all of that, so I'm gonna take you guys through the Mind of Leaf. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, much to the displeasure of many people, I want more stupid minigames in my games. I want to come in here, and I want to go through a menu to select what animals are getting the food. So I could open up a menu, and it says American Flamingo, it says what food I want to feed them, and I say sure, let's go. Then I get a little notification up here that says go to the keeper hut. I come over here to the keeper hut, and up here, since I'm in here, it opens up a game to prepare their food. Like, give me just like a couple Fruit Ninja mini games where it's like I need to cut some bananas or something. Do flamingos eat bananas? They most certainly do not. But yeah, let me do that. And from there, I could bring that to the habitat, and I could just come right in here. It'll say place food, spacebar or whatever. But once I come up here, it'll say place food in forage enrichment box and say spacebar, and it'll put it in there. And that's what I want, guys. Like, that is just such a fun little way to help your zoos really come alive. I've said it before again too, I want to feel like a guest in my own zoo as well. I think the guest experience, especially for the sharing element of this game, is so important. So at least in Planet Coaster 2, they do have the ability for you to go up to rides and click spacebar to enter them and exit them, which is really, really awesome. But I want that expanded upon in Planet Zoo, because part of my joy of this game is not just making zoos myself, but also exploring other people's zoos and exploring my own zoos in a way that I can't experience from up here. This is how I mostly played the game, because the game doesn't incentivize me to actually go down here. So with this being said, I would like to have some features, at least for a more robust guest mode, and I'm even thinking about enrichment items. You wanna know why? Here we go, herb scent enrichment marker. You know what this does? Quite literally says, animal, come over here. And now we wait. So that basically calls all the animals closer. And you can see the mandrills, they found their way right over here. We have a female mandrill right there. What I would like is to put this on me, to wear it like a hat. And what I mean by that is, if we have animals, and I can see, like, you know, the animal personalities returning that they made an update for. I don't really mess with that stuff, but like each animal has their own little mindset in this game. So you have ones that are social, you have ones that aren't, but ones that are social, ones that are curious. I feel like curious would be a really fun trait. They would come right up to the glass, and when you're kind of walking through the zoo, it would make it feel a little bit more alive. It would feel like you're actually there. You yourself have an impact on the ecosystem that you're walking through. I'm just imagining like walking up to the glass and a big cat or a primate comes up to you and it expresses interest. I would love to see something like that. And I don't know, just other ways to feel more included in the zoo. I'm thinking about, like, you know, maybe I want to empty these trash barrels. I could hit space. That would be super helpful. Again, most of these ideas just come from Zoo Tycoon 2, but listen, she's the blueprint, baby. And yeah, I think all in all, the final thing that I would want, you guys know I'm gonna say it, I might as well, drivable buggies. Is there a go-kart or something like that? Yes, there is. Okay, this has a little bit more of a zoo precedent, but yeah, this is the ultimate way that I've seen people in real life get around zoos, wildlife parks, stuff like that. And I would actually like to see this as a feature in the game. It's not like it's difficult. They have had drivable buggies, or at least drivable go-karts in Planet Coaster 1, which Planet Zoo's engine is kind of based off of. They have it in Jurassic World Evolution 3, and I would love to see a feature like that return, especially since it was in Zoo Tycoon 3, Zoo Tycoon Xbox, whatever you want to call it. Like, I would love to see that. But all in all, that's kind of like my initial thoughts on Planet Zoo 2. Obviously, there's so much more to talk about. I'll talk about animals at a later date and like what I would come to expect out of new species and stuff. But man, oh man, yesterday just felt like such a rush. It really was such a rush. I mean, the fact that we finally have confirmation of this game that we've all wanted for the longest time. Now, I know a lot of people will still say, I want to stick with Planet Zoo 1. It's not going anywhere, babe. This game, it's not going anywhere. You bought it. You have it. You have it on Steam. You have it on Xbox. You have it on PlayStation. You can still play it. I just want to stress that. However, once you do have the funds and once you start saving, like right now, save up. Like, I can already expect base game $60 with a bonus edition of kind of like maybe 70 or something. Start saving up. Save $1 each day. Skip a couple coffees, you know, because this game, you're gonna get a lot of mileage out of it. I mean, you come over here, over here. Come over here, over here. Yeah, great job, Luke. You can see 3,800 hours. Now, if we come over here to the store page, and we pause this so that I don't need to hear it, you can see $218 for the entire shebang. Now, if I do a little quick math, 3,800 divided by 220, you can see, okay, it came out to be 17. I don't know. I'm doing my boy math right now. I don't know. I'm trying to make it make sense, but I don't know. I would say I've gotten my mileage out of this game. If you have over 100, 200 hours in this game, I would say you have too. I'm more than happy to do it again. I really am. I understand that people have their reserves about buying the same animal, quote unquote, twice. Me personally, I don't really see that as too big of an issue, again, because we can come to expect some improvements to the animals over time. This is a remaster, by the way. I just got a shout out to Gaboy. But yeah, we can expect animal updates in terms of behavior, in terms of locomotion, AI. Not AI in the bad way. I'm just talking about artificial intelligence in which it decides where to go in the habitat. Can't believe I need to specify that. That's just so sad. That's the world we live in now. That's great. But yeah, in terms of that stuff, I can absolutely see animals being worth it for an upgrade. I already see in Jurassic World Evolution 3, now they have sexual dimorphism and babies and stuff like that. I don't know. But that's kind of my main thoughts over here. Let me know what you guys have to say. Were you guys excited about the video yesterday? I'm just curious to hear all of your thoughts. What's your most anticipated features for Planet Zoo 2? I've let you know all of mine. I think mine kind of fall relatively in line with the community, but I know everyone has their own thoughts. Let me know what you have to say, and we will end it right there. Let's end it with a bird, because I feel like that's very fitting. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this is a beautiful habitat, lady. Great job. We're gonna end it right there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, and goodbye.